Hey, what's up, Hot Garbage Squad? Welcome back to another video. For those who don't know, I'm Foxy and welcome to the Hot Garbage Squad. Today, we will be learning how to Lushen. It's going to be a very simple beginner guide because a lot of you guys, I got questions about how do I even build an arena offense. And the easiest one to build is going to be the Lushen. So you follow me at YouTube foxysw and Twitch foxysw. So please like, subscribe, and comment if this video is going to help you. So let's move into the first slide I have. Talk about the basics. So I know my webcam's covering it a little bit, but this is the best place I can put it without covering too much text. So here we'll be discussing the agenda here: double Lushen, Fluffer plus Lushen, a leader skill plus your Speed Lushen, which is a branch of your double Lushen team, and then a leader skill plus a fat Lushen team. So 4 different teams here. So here today we'll be discussing, if you see my pointer here, the leader skills here. So obviously Alicia, Samoth are going to be the S tier monsters that you will have. If you don't have Alicia, then you'll probably have a Raki. Reason being because they both give 44% lead. If you don't have a 44% lead, the other option is a Poseidon or a Zyros. I didn't include them, but you can understand the same thought period of the leader skill, the attack leader skill. And then moving on here, we have Samoth, the better version of Vanessa here for arena. Reason being is because Samoth actually does damage, whereas Vanessa is single target. And the next best is going to be Shimite because it's a 24 speed lead and AoE damage as well, so better than Sierra. But you will see that some of these are interchangeable, but obviously not the best like the Alicia Samoth here. And then we're moving into the second column here. We have a primary attack bar booster. So with me, the free-to-play Bernard, Frigate if you're a little bit more premium, and Kabila. So as we all know, Triton got buffed, so it's a super high base speed here, and the only option for a free-to-play user to have assuming equal rune quality is having Kabila. Next best option is going to be Bernard because of the next best base speed. And then we're moving on to the secondary attack bar buffer, or the Resurger here. So you will see number 1 unit is going to be Bastet and then the Megan. So if you have a Megan, so if you have Bastet, you obviously will use the Megan. If you don't have Bastet, you're going to be using the Megan here for your double Lushen team. And then you will see I have units that give you crit rate buff. So that's Purian and a Messi. I'll talk about that. Both of them do different things. The Purians for double Lushen and Messis for your fat Lushen team. And then the bottom, we have Konamiya and Tion. This is going to be your fat Lushen team, aka the Resurger. So let's move on and discuss some of the teams here. So the first team we have is the double Lushen team. Very easy to build here. The formula here is the primary attack bar booster, secondary attack bar booster, Lushen, and then your Will Lushen. The reason I put Will Lushen here is because it's a plus. If you don't have Will Lushen, it's obviously going to be better if you have Will, but if you don't, that's okay as well. The highest level, I really suggest you have Will because you have really, this game has transformed into an RNG game for comeback potential. So, units like Amduat and Terrace, when you double Lushen a Samoth Triana team, you can guarantee first turn, but if you kill the Samoth, it revives with a Despair proc onto your second Lushen before it goes, it can really mess up your whole team. And that's why I advise you to have a Will Lushen here, right? So if we go back to the previous slide, you will see the primary attack bar buffers and the secondary attack bar buffers, right? So basically just fill in what you have here, the first two. The constant here is going to be Lushen and Lushen, obviously, right? And this team really excels when there's like a double, when all the units are bruisers, and you can just amputation magic them all down. If it's like 4 fire, obviously you won't. Stall teams, same concept. If you don't run like Ariel, Rena, Camilla, very simple to double Lushen or even Jameer as well. So I didn't include Jameer here as well because it's not an offensive unit. I should have made a new tab here called Quadruple Lushen, which is essentially this team here, but take out the Bernard and put in a Jameer. That's the Quadruple Lushen. So that's an extension that I should put it in here, but I didn't, which works really well against stall team as well, or any team that has no threats here. So you're probably asking me, what if you have Kabila here, right? Kabila has no leader skill, but Megan does. Megan is a 21% attack lead, so you can't run Kabila and Bastet because then you have no attack lead. So keep that in mind, that the leader skills of this unit, 30% for wind and 21% for everything. So that's a double Lushen team, and I know you'll have more questions here about speed, damage, and I have FAQ portion at the end of this video to answer some of that. But at the most basic level, this is how you want to build your Lushen team. And if you want more information, I do have more videos on in-depth from last year, and it's still It's still relevant. But this is the 2020 edition because Triton meta. So we have the next one, Fluffer plus Lushen. So the turn order for this team is going to be your primary attack bar booster, secondary, Fluffer, and a Lushen. And like I said before, Will is highly advised here. So here are some of the combinations you can run. So first turn Bernard, Megan, and then you'll see I have 3 fight runes on my Lushen here. So some people like to run, a speed, crit rate, attack Lushen. That way it's a Fluffer because it does no damage on crit rate, but it's guaranteed to Fluffer because it's on fight, no damage, and it makes your second Lushen really strong with the 3 fight runes here. Alternatively, if you see a team that's heavy on fire, what you do is you replace for the first Lushen and you put a Julie in. The Julie softens the fire monster down or the Nemesis healer down, and that way your Lushen finish it down here. Another alternative that you can do is you have first turn Bernard, yes, second turn Lushen. So this Lushen will be really, really fast. That's speed tuned to your Bernard. And then your Konamiya or your Tion will resurge your fat Lushen to amp it down. So this acts like a Fluffer Lushen, and this is your fat Lushen that amps everything down here, right? So this is how the Fluffer Lushen team works. Having more AO combinations in your arsenal is going to give you a higher rank, obviously. So if you're running a double Lushen team, if you're running a team like this, I would highly suggest you run another variation like this for when you hit Nemesis teams. For example, if your Lushen on double Lushen team is really, really fast, I'm talking about like plus 100, 110 speed on your Lushens. Sometimes the Nemesis healers like Praha, Ariel will not cut in because you're so supercharged on speed and they're really slow here. But the Fluffer Lushen team is like very, very safe to ensure it doesn't matter how fast you are, no matter how fast they are, they will most likely will not cut in with this combination. So this is something I would definitely add to your arsenal if you're running a double Lushen team. And then we have the last team here called the second last team, a leader skill plus speed Lushen. So if you're running the double Lushen team, the Fluffer Lushen team, this is the third variation that I would definitely run in your speed Lushen comp. Okay, so the turn order here is going to be your primary attack bar buffer, secondary, your speed lead, and then your Lushen. So to give you a visual example here, Bernard takes first turn, Megan Bastet takes second turn, and then you have your Samoth. The reason why I have Samoth going first is because if you're facing another speed team with Samoth, your Samoth, a lot of people don't run Will on their Samoth because they offer Nemesis on AD. And that's where you, with their Samoth, can just reset their Samoth, and then your Lushen can destroy them. If you don't have a Samoth, for example, you have a Shimate, if their Samoth is on Will, it doesn't make no difference because your Shimate is either going to kill it with second skill or weaken it down really low. If your Shimate kills the enemy Samoth, then it revives, and then your Lushen, which should be on Will here, will not get stunned by any RNG chance. So that's how you want to work it with this way. The reason why I put Vanessa here is because sometimes you just need a 33% speed lead to outspeed their 33% speed lead. Sometimes people put their AO on their defense, which is essentially Vanessa or speed lead, Bernard, Megan, Lushen. If you're faster with another 33 speed lead, super easy 10-second clear. So the other variation I have is the primary attack bar booster, secondary, Lushen, and then your attack lead. So yes, it's a little bit different because if you have Alicia, if you don't know how Alicia works, Alicia's third skill gives you another additional turn to use your second skill. Second skill is speed scaling off enemy. So this is a speed meta. Alicia doesn't hurt a lot. To ensure Alicia's third skill actually kills something, your speed Lushen goes first to like fluffer everything down. Then your Alicia kills everything. And in the same thought here, Raki doesn't have the kit that Alicia has, where you get an additional turn and do tons of damage. However, Shatter does give you attack bar increase, but the reason why you're essentially using the Raki over like a Zaros, for example, here is because 44% is a big difference compared to Zaros 33. However, if you value Zaros 33, then you will use for the reset on the enemy team, and then your Lushen goes. However, sometimes damage is everything, but also because the meta of how Raki changed her third skill, it goes through Triana, it goes through Miho. Miho is super popular. Maybe Raki is something you want to consider in this variation as well. So moving on to the Fat Lushen team. After the Fat Lushen team, I'm going to go back and talk about the 70% version as well, okay? So here you will see the turn order for your Fat Lushen team is going to be your primary attack bar buffer, your resurger, your Lushen, and then a leader skill. The reason why it works this way is because your resurger has to be speed tuned to your Bernard. So whatever speed your Bernard is, this resurger team will have to be speed tuned. So for example, mine is 300 speed Bernard, around 160, 170 speed. Bonus on these two units will make it speed tuned. There's no way you're having a Samoth or Samoth or Shimate that is going to be plus 170 speed, do enough damage, unless you're GT. So that's why this goes first, to resurge your Lushen, that's your Fat Lushen, to destroy everything, and then your leader skill goes. Essentially, the Shimate Samoth there is for you to take on the Triton teams. It's really good against 33 speed lead Samoth, Triton, Jean, and then Rika, for example. All you need to do is take first turn with your Fat Lushen with a speed lead, and then you destroy them. And then because your Samoth and Shimate are on will, it will not get stunned unless you don't kill the Triton. Then some things might hurt your attack bar, and then Jean Rika goes crazy, for example, here. So at the highest level, that's the most simple way to put it. Sometimes you might want to use Alicia Fat Lushen because sometimes there's just like I said before here, right? In the double Lushen team, it's really good against Bruiser and Stall teams. However, if you just have enough damage through a Fat Lushen team, there's no need to run a double Lushen team. However, the biggest con here is your Fat Lushen damage will say how high you can climb safely. If you don't do enough damage, you will always have a little bit on the enemy team, and then you just get destroyed. So keep that in mind. If you're running a Fat Lushen team, it's basically there's no recovery chance. You have one chance to do all the damage. And if you don't do enough damage, you lose. Unlike the double Lushen team, you have two opportunities to do as much damage as you can here, or the single speed Lushen team with a speed lead. So it really depends on your team compositions and your runes here. And I'm going to go back here to the Purian and Messity here. Let's talk about 70% crit rate here now, okay? So here you'll see that the secondary attack bar booster can actually be, the primary attack bar booster can actually be a Purian, I believe. So having Purian gives you a crit rate lead. So when you're facing a full stall team, if your Lushens are just really, really bad, you can run a 70 crit rate Lushen here and a 100 crit rate Lushen here, and give your Purian crit rate buff to let your first Lushen do just that much more damage. Or to give you another example here, the Emesity. Some of you guys will see some people, most prominently Math Plus Games here uses Bastet as your primary booster, Resurger as the Emesity. The reason being he does that is because his Lushen is 70% crit rate. However, this is 2020. Triton speed is way higher than Bastet. So assuming you're a G3 facing people with equal rune quality, or G1 equal rune quality, your Bastet will not outspeed an enemy Triton unless they have it unruned or on Despair, because it's already scary on defense. So that's why I do not advise you to do 70% crit rate Lushen, because it just doesn't work that well anymore in this speed meta. Unless you have super insane runes and you like fight in lower ranks where you don't belong, and you can get away with that speed differential, but I guarantee you it will not work that well in G3 arena anymore, assuming equal rune quality. So to finish off here, this is an FAQ that I thought of that you guys will probably ask me based off my experience here. Now, how fast should my Lushen be? The answer is always speed tuned. If you don't know how to speed tune your Lushens, so many resources on my YouTube channel for you to find out. In my earlier videos, they sort by new. Also, the answer is going to be the faster you are, the better, because you don't get cut. But also, you don't want to sacrifice all your damage for speed. I like to say 9 to 10k cards for your double Lushen team is pretty good here. So that's what I would aim for, and then try to make it faster as you climb up ranks. So second question, how do I counter Triton with no 33% speed lead? Well, you can't, because first of all, the base speed differential is too crazy. Triton's like 116 versus Bernard's like what 110 or something like that. I don't remember the base speeds, but Triton's way insane. But also, if you're running it like before the meta, it was Tiana Samoth here, and then it was Bernard that countered the Tiana, and then you were able to run a Shimate because the base speed of Bernard versus Tiana allowed you for the gap of not having a 33% speed lead. But now there's simply nothing because Triton has a built like an innate speed lead built in his base speed versus like some of the free-to-play units like Megan, Bernard, for example. And the only reason you counter it is with Kabila or get better Swift runes. So that's kind of uncommon to us. I can't really think about that. There's no technique I can teach you about how to counter Triton without a 33% speed lead unless you're just really good. So how much should my Fat Lushen hit? So my Fat Lushen hits around 14k with one fight set, and that has gotten me legend multiple times. I'm gonna say like Fat Lushen was my main AO. So I'm gonna say if you have 14k, you can definitely get G3, not with immensity. 14k, 100 crit rate Fat Lushen, not 70% crit rate and like 14k cards, because like I said, Triton meta, you won't get away with it in G3 consistently. And next question is, how fast should my how fast should my Bernard be? How fast should a 300 speed set good enough for this rank? Honestly, from my experience, I think a 300 set on a Bernard, not on a Triton, okay? Because base speed makes a big difference. 300 set on a Bernard is good enough for G1, but the more the better because the Triton meta is insane. So obviously, try to aim for 300 before you move out of Giants here if you want to focus on arena. Do I run a Speed Lushen team or a Fat Lushen team? The answer is I had both runed because that's how big my depth is for Swift runes. However, the more you have in your arsenal, the more AOs you have, the more you can counter in arena when you're rushing. However, Fat Lushen teams, if you farmed a lot of Rage runes, maybe the Fat Lushen team works better for you. If you farmed a lot of Swift runes and you love redact a lot of Swift runes, the Double Lushen team, the Speed Lushen team is probably going to work out best for you. Both are going to work in this meta, depends on your rune quality. I'm going to say this though, just go by efficiency and what works best for you, okay? And lastly, do I run a 70% crit rate or 100% crit rate Fat Lushen? I already made a video. Go ahead and check that video out. Anyways, this is the video that I wanted to talk to you guys about how to build your beginner Lushen. I can go into a lot more detail about how to optimize it in future videos, but at a glance here, this is like the most basic Lushen guide you are going to get. So I hope that helped you, and I'll make more in-depth videos about this as well. Foxy out.